that on the face of it, you know, that's a very philosophical, actually very philosophical in that sense, and we can actually listen. We can learn a message. We can learn a message that how, or we can also have a mental boost from that story as well. Now, on the face of it by Susan Hill. Now here, it's a story about people with deformities, means handicapped people. Here we will come across two main characters. One, Derry, a 14 years old boy, and Mr. Lamb. His age has not been told, but he is an old man. Now, both this character is having a similarity and dissimilarity. What is the similarity? That both the characters, they are deformed characters, means they are handicapped. What kind of? That Mr. Lamb, one of his leg had been blown up in the war by bomb, and he is having a tin leg. On the other hand, Derry, he is a boy of only 14 years old. One side of his face has been burned by acid. Accidentally, acid had fallen one side of his face and it had been burned. So, Mr. Lamb, a man with a tin leg, and Derry, a man with a burned face. Now, when the story opens, we find that Derry, the 14 years old boy, he has come to the garden of Mr. Lamb. Now, Miss Derry actually does not want to come out of his house because he feels that whenever he comes out of his house, people actually look at his burned face, they criticize his face, and that Derry could not tolerate. So, he actually came into Mr. Lamb's garden by by using the garden wall, not by the main gate, because he was afraid that if he would use the main gate, then the other people would see see him coming into that garden. That is why he came. He just tripled over the garden wall, and came into that garden. On the other hand, Mr. Lamb, actually he doesn't bother about his tin leg. Now, Derry, I told that these are the similarities, that both of the personalities are suffering from deformities. But the dissimilar thing is that Derry is negative minded. He always thinks that as his face has been burned by acid, so his life has already been spoiled, because he could not come out of his house, and he could not do anything in his life. This was Derry's thinking. On the other hand, Mr. Lamb thinks, or Mr. Lamb doesn't bother whether he is having an original leg or as a tin leg. Mr. Lamb actually always wants to lead his life as life comes to him. He does not have any problem regarding that, or any mental problem regarding that tin leg. He doesn't bother whether he is having a tin leg or not. Now, Derry has come to Mr. Lamb's garden. Now, towards the end of the story, we would see that Mr. Lamb will be able to change Derry's attitude towards life. He would teach Derry, he would encourage Derry that if you really want to lead your life in a smooth way, you can lead it. Now, in various way, Mr. Lamb will encourage Derry to forget about his own thinking, that is the negative thinking, that always Derry thinks that as his face has been burned by acid, so also his life has been actually spoiled by acid. That Mr. Lamb would be able to wipe out see these thinking of Derry from his life. But once Derry would go to meet his mother and end that conversation, and again Derry would come back. And when Derry actually was going from that garden to meet his mother, because Derry thought that mother must be worried because mother did not know where he has come. So he told Mr. Lamb that I must go to meet my mom. And at this, Mr. Lamb told that next he would not come back again, because anybody who comes in the garden, if once they go back, actually they would not come. At this, Jerry told, rather Jerry promised to Mr. Lamb that I would definitely come back again. And actually Jerry went to meet his mother, and again Jerry came back as he promised. And when Jerry came back, he saw, actually he actually shouted to Mr. Lamb that yes, as you saw, I have come back, I have come back, I have kept my promise. But he could not listen, or he could not find where Mr. Lamb was. Now he just started to run, and he was surprised to see that Mr. Lamb was lying on the grass. He went to Mr. Lamb, and he just saw, picture is there. Picture is there in that book. If you turn the page number 67, you can have a picture that here Mr. Lamb, actually Mr. Lamb, who is having a tin leg, and in his garden there were crab apple trees. Crab apple trees. Crab apple, one kind of apple, the crab apple trees. So Mr. Lamb actually wanted to pick some apples by the help of that ladder, but unfortunately the ladder had slipped, and Mr. Lamb had fallen from the ladder, and Daddy found that he died. So the drama actually ends with a pathetic note that a person who actually changed Jerry's outlook towards life, who actually encouraged a boy of 14 to lead his life like the normal people, actually who encouraged Jerry, who found that life was miserable to him, who found that life had been spoiled, nothing would happen. But Mr. Lapp actually changed his attitude towards life. But unfortunately, the man died. The man with that positive outlook, he died. Okay, so this is the story all about in a nutshell. So let us start the story reading. I feel you'd understand about it, and whenever I will read and explain it, it would be more interesting to all of you. So let's start this. Now here, I feel the book is there, page number 56, chapter number 6, on the face of it. Apart from this, we are having another chapter left, that is chapter number 7, that is Evans tries O level. So these are the penultimate chapter, the second last chapter that we are studying today. This is a play featuring an old man and a small boy meeting in the farmer's garden. Here, before it read, this is a play featuring an old man and a small boy meeting in the farmer's garden. Means a play, one act play, where an old man and a small boy, I told, small boy is Jerry, old man is Lamb, and small boy's name I have already told, is Jerry. And meeting in the farmer's garden means the boy had come to meet Mr. Lamb's garden. The old man strikes up a friendship with the boy, who is very withdrawn and defiant. The old man strikes up a friendship with the man. The old man was able to make a friendship with that boy, who is very withdrawn. Withdrawn means he doesn't want to come out of his room, who doesn't want to mix with the other people. And defiant. Defiant means strong-headed, means very much robust. Robust means he was defiant. Defiant means strong-headed. Actually, he doesn't want. He always wanted to stick to his point. This is defiant. What is the bond that unites the two? Now, as if the narrator asks this question, what is the bond that unites the friendship of these two? So let's start. Scene 1. Mr. Lamb's garden. The occasion, the occurrence of that play, the occurrence is Mr. Lamb's garden. There is occasional sound, bird song, and and tree leaf rustling. Yes, in the garden, occasional sound, we can listen, the birds are singing, we can have bird song, and the tree leaves rustling. Here, rustling means when winds blows through the leaves, it makes a sound. This is known as rustling sound. so we can have that rustling sound and of the garden, and also the birds are singing. Jerry's footsteps are heard as he walks slowly and tentatively through the long grasses. So at the very beginning, this is the beginning of that story. The Jerry's footsteps are heard and slowly and tentatively through the soft grass, long grass. He pauses. Now Jerry's footsteps is heard, means Jerry had entered into the garden. Now he pauses and then walks on again. He at first he pauses and walks on again, means Jerry was not confident in his approach. He comes round a screen of bushes so that when Mr. Lamb speaks to him, he is close at hand, and Jerry is startled. So Jerry has come a screen of bushes. Bushes there, tree, bushes, plant are there. So bushes there, and Jerry could not see Mr. Lamb, watching there. Could not see Mr. Lamb sitting there. So Mr. Lamb actually, when Mr. Lamb spoke, Jerry had been startled. Jerry had been very much surprised, and he startled, he trembled at when Mr. Lamb spoke there. No, because Jerry could not see Mr. Lamb sitting there, and where Mr. Lamb was sitting, this has been actually hidden by that the screen of bushes. That is why Jerry could not see this. Now see, Mr. Lamb, mind the apples. Mr. Lamb told, mind the apples. So Jerry, what? Who is there? Who is there? Who is that? Who is there? Because Jerry seen Mr. Lamb sitting in the garden, Jerry would not enter the garden, because at the very beginning it has been described as Jerry that he is very withdrawn. He doesn't want to come near the people, because Jerry always thinks that as he is having a burned face, so whenever he would go near the people would look at his face and people would start criticizing his face, and he must be very much morbid. That is the reason that he is so much withdrawn. He doesn't want to come and mix with the other people. Now, as I am telling, that had he seen Mr. Lamb sitting in the garden, he must not enter into the garden. But Jerry actually thought that nobody in the garden, and that is the reason Jerry had entered. Now, whenever Mr. Lamb told Jerry, mind the apples, or see the apples, Jerry was startled. What? Who is that? Who is there? Mr. Lamb. Lambs, my name. Mind the apples. No, Lamb told, Lamb is my name. Mind the apples, see the apples. Crab apples, these are crab apples, one kind of apples, and not the apple, these are available in a market. This is one kind of, one category, one species of apples, crab apples. It's not so, it's having a sour taste. Wind falls in the long grass, you can trip. Mr. Lamb told, the crab apples are there in my garden, lots of crab apples tree is there, so you can fall down, you can triple, you can triple over these crab apples. Okay, that's why I told see the apples. Jerry, I thought this was an empty place. Jerry told, now Jerry, there, means Jerry is fumbling. I thought this was an empty place. I didn't know there was anybody here. Now Jerry is telling, I did not know anybody here. I thought it's an empty place. That is the reason. No, Mr. Lamb, that's all right. I'm here. What are you afraid of, boy? That's all right. Mr. Lamb told, oh, what's the problem? I'm here. So why are you afraid? Actually, from Jerry's attitude, it was true. From Jerry's approach, it was true that Jerry was afraid of something. So Mr. Lamb told, why are you afraid of? I'm here. What are you afraid of, boy? That's all right. No, Jerry, I thought it was empty, an empty house. Jerry told, no, I thought it was an empty house. Every time Jerry was fumbling, it means that Jerry is having a lack of confidence in his life as well. Mr. Lamb, so it is, since I am out here in the garden. Mr. Lamb told, yes. If you thought that it is empty, so it is empty, because as far out I am still, since I am out here in the garden, it's empty. It means Mr. Lamb lives alone in the house. It's empty until I go back inside. Mr. Lamb told, yes, it's empty until I go back. Till I go back there, it's empty. A day like this, a beautiful day, not a day to be indoors. Mr. Lamb told, yes, it's a great day. I like to spend this day here. Not a day to be indoors. It's a beautiful day to spend it here. A day like this, beautiful day, not a day to be indoors, Mr. Lamb told. From this, we can understand that Mr. Lamb is a nature lover, because it's probably a bright sunny day, and Mr. Lamb wants to spend this day in the garden. Now Jerry panic. Jerry is getting scared. I have got to go. I have got to go means I need to go now. I have got to go. Now Mr. Lamb, not on my account. I don't mind who comes into the garden. The gate is always open. Mr. Lamb told, no, not on my account. Means not only for me. Not for me. Why you should go from here? Mr. Lamb is telling to Jerry, not for me that you should go from here. Everybody, I don't mind who comes into the garden. I don't mind whoever comes into the garden. The gate is always open. Only you climb the garden wall. That Lamb told to Jerry, the gate is always open. Only you climbed the garden wall. Means Mr. Lamb had noticed that boy had entered the garden by using the wall, not coming through the gate. That Mr. Lamb told to Jerry. That everybody comes here, the gate is always open, only you used the garden wall to come in. Now Jerry angry. Now Jerry is getting angry to Mr. Lamb. You are watching me. Now Jerry is telling to Mr. Lamb, oh, that means you are watching me. Now Lamb, I saw you, but the gate is open. All welcome. You are welcome. I sit here. I like sitting. At this, Mr. Lamb told, I saw you to come. I saw you, but the gate is open. Mr. Lamb is telling to Jerry, I saw you. Gate is open. All welcome. All are welcome here. You are welcome. I sit here. I like sitting. Mr. Lamb told, I sit here in the garden. I like sitting. All are welcome. You are also welcome. The gate is open. Now Jerry, I would not come to steal anything. I had not come here to steal anything. Jerry actually clarified his standpoint. Jerry told that Mr. Lamb might think that he had come to steal something. That is why he made it clear. I had come not to steal anything. I had not come to steal anything, that Jerry told. Mr. Lamb, no. A young lad steal Scram the apples. You are not so young. Mr. Lamb told, no. Young boys, they scram the apples. Actually, the word scram means stealing fruit. Stealing fruit. Scram the apples. You are not so young. So Mr. Lamb actually confirmed Jerry. No. Actually, young boys come to steal here. You are not so young. Jerry, I just wanted to come into the garden. Now, actually, Jerry was so much in a uncomfortable situation, because the owner is sitting there in the garden. So Jerry need to tell that why he had come. That is why he was telling. He was clarifying himself. He told, I just wanted to come into the garden, and that is why I have come. Now, Mr. Lamb, so did you? So you did. So what's no problem? Yes, as you wanted, so you have come. Here we are, here then, no problem. Now Jerry, you don't know who I am, Jerry told to Mr. Lamb. You don't know who I am. You don't know who I am. Mr. Lamb, a boy, 13 or so. Mr. Lamb told, oh. Mr. Lamb actually guessed by seeing his face. A boy, 13 or so. Jerry, 14. But I have got to go now. Goodbye. Jerry told 14. So, Mr. Lamb was almost correct in his guessing. Mr. Lamb, when Jerry told that you don't know who I am, at this, Mr. Lamb told, a boy, 13 or so. At this, Jerry told 14. Means I'm not 14, but I have got to go now. Goodbye. Now, Mr. Lamb, nothing to be afraid of. Just a garden. Just me. Mr. Lamb told, why you are going? Nothing of afraid of. You must not scared of anything. Why you are scaring? Just me. No, Jerry, but I am not. I am not afraid. Jerry is telling, I am not afraid. Then pause. People are afraid of me. Teddy is telling this to Mr. Lamb. I am not afraid of going there, but people are afraid of me. Why should that be? Mr. Lamb told. Why should that be? Why people should be afraid of you? So, up to this, I feel you have understood. It's a very interesting story. So, keep joining my class. In my next class, we will continue. And today's class, it's thank you very much for joining. Today, up to this, bye bye. We will continue again in our next class. Bye bye.